when we look at the brain, we tend to look at the brain in isolation. So this 2013 study by Professor Schroeder, found something that a lot of studies find, and that was the effect that Oreo cookies have a similar effect to mice running around in mazes and getting rewards in mazes, as does cocaine. Okay. So basically that, when you put a mouse, in order to motivate a mouse to complete a task or to run through a maze in a particular way, mice in this study were about as motivated when they, took an Oreo cookie as when they snorted some cocaine. Question. Or mice don't snort cocaine, sorry. When they were, that has to go on YouTube. When the mice was given cocaine as a reward. Okay, that's nice. But we looked a little bit about systems theory in this class. We looked a little bit about more than just thinking about the brain. What is a limitation of this kind of way of looking at the brain? Yeah.
Mice don't exactly have the same anatomy as our brain.
Right, mice brains, mouse brains, and human brains aren't the same. Some other things.
They probably have lower tolerance to sugar.
Maybe they have a lower sugar tolerance. What you're saying is their physiology is different. Okay, very good. Don't raise your hands here, but I'm gonna ask a question. If I were to ask the question, how many of you have ever had a bad day, and you went to CVS or Duane Reade and you bought a bag of cookies? Okay, yeah, you don't have to answer that, but yeah, people would raise their hands. Nobody raised their hands for this question. Please, this is not a question. This is not a participation question. If I were to ask a class, and I won't even look, so nobody raises their hands, how many of you have had a bad day and went out and got some cocaine? Nobody would raise their hands. It's not a socially acceptable question to ask. It's not even legal for me to ask that. But you see, there's a different meaning associated to cocaine than there is associated to Oreo cookies. Can you all agree on that? Okay. You can buy Oreo cookies from a Duane Reade. You cannot buy maybe you can buy cocaine from some Duane Reades in New York, but not that as far as I know, you can't buy cocaine from a Duane Reade. Outside the Duane Reade, you can. But, there's still a process. So, if you just wanted to get cocaine in the middle of the night, you couldn't really do that unless you had several things happen before that. Like, you'd have to know somebody. You'd have to know somebody who knows somebody that uses cocaine to get the name of somebody, to get the money, to get cash. You'd have to have things prepared. You'd have to know how to get cocaine. So it's not just it's available. It's not actually that available. Which is why when you see studies like, Coca-Cola or alcohol is more addictive than heroin, is it really? Cigarettes are the hardest addiction. Yeah, because you can get cigarettes anywhere. Not anymore, but you can really get cigarettes or alcohol anywhere. With marijuana is very easy to get in a few months. You can drive to another state and get marijuana legally now. You can get it anywhere. Okay? As it becomes more available, its addictivity is going to change, how addictive it is, how it affects people's lives. But when you look at what drugs are actually have a deleterious effect on human beings, there are basically 4 of them, 5. You have cocaine, which includes crack cocaine, alcohol, heroin, crystal methamphetamine. Those are the real 4 horrible, horrible drugs that destroy people's lives and that also just have a horrible effect on society. And they cost us as a society a lot of money and a lot of lives. Okay? Those drugs are really serious. Yeah, sugar, diabetes, those are also serious, but they're a separate issue, okay? You cannot compare Oreo cookies with cocaine. It is not a fair comparison. It is not a fair comparison of motivation, okay? Yes, mice who don't know any better in a maze may be more motivated to do Oreo cookies or just as equally motivated to have cocaine. It may affect our brain in a similar way, but certainly a human being who is doing cocaine habitually has a very different motivation to do cocaine than Oreo cookies. Wouldn't you agree? There's meaning, guys. Human beings are meaning-creating machines. If you're doing cocaine to lose weight, to get a part in a show or a job or a modeling agency, or to get the right boyfriend or the right girlfriend or the right person, and that's why you're using cocaine or to study, you're attaching meaning to the drug use. You see that? This isn't like, oh, I'm having cookies, because when you're a kid, you have cookies. So the context in which a drug is used is so important. We cannot disavow all the systems that are in place in our lives and just say, oh, it's all the brain. It's us. It's our society. It's our environment. That also affects drug use. That also affects any behavior that we engage in. So when we look at studies like this, human anatomy and the human social context are very, very different than a laboratory mouse study. So, these are interesting things. They make great sound bites in the news. They make those kind of news pieces that kind of get misinterpreted. But you have to apply your intelligence when you think about these kind of studies.